Greetings and salutations, friends. Thanks for joining us tonight at the GRA Rock-A-Rama. We are so excited for this special Unity-themed episode. I'm your host, Jamie Barr.
And I'm your co-host, Matt Whitaker, and I can't wait to get this episode started. I think this is the perfect time of year to talk about Unity. Spring is sprung, and we're about to be back out in the wild, and I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it.
No.
I think I like it. Woo!
Yeah, I think we've all got a little spring fever. I'm not talking about that COVID. No, really, actually, I do hope everyone's getting their vaccines. A little PSA for all you Austinites trying to make like Hamilton and not throwing away your shot. No, you're not gonna throw away your shot. Actually, go get your shot. Go get pre-registered at Austin Public Health at this lovely link below, or www.covid19.austintexas.gov/.
Jamie, did you get your vaccine yet?
I did, actually. I was super thankful that HAM, the Health Alliance of Austin Musicians, for all you non-Austinites, helped hook me up with a last-minute appointment. So I flew down to the Circuit of the Americas racetrack and got my first shot. And boy, are my arms tired. Actually, it is still kind of sore. But, hey, nothing more Texan than getting your vaccine at the racetrack. You?
Oh, yeah. I jumped on my first opportunity, and now I'm good to go. So it's so awesome to be able to see my bandmates and my friends, and we're reunited, and it feels so good.
Well, let's hope it does. To be honest, I'm a little nervous of all this. After all this isolation, I really feel like it's kind of affected me and my social anxiety. Don't get me wrong, I am really excited to see people, but I hate confrontations, and I know we've all gotten a little set in our own ways, which really leaves a wide range of reasons that could just potentially trigger a conflict. I'm just not sure how to keep things copacetic anymore. And when we all come back together without actually compromising my personal code of ethics or my own beliefs, we're just so different. And I'm not even sure how to take the first steps in reaching out to these people, to these folks, nonetheless discussing sensitive issues, especially the ones I'm passionate about.
I totally hear that, Jamie. I bet you our guest panelists can help us to come up with a few ways that we can create unity out of diversity while still allowing us to flourish in all of our unique ways.
I bet you're right. I can't wait to sit down with Cary Graham, the founding pastor of the Church Lab, a nonprofit community which explores innovative paths to spiritual maturity.
Yeah, Cary experiments and helps other faith leaders experiment in helping make spiritual growth accessible in the 21st century, regardless of a person's posture or experience with religious institutions.
Wow. And plus, we have some OG Girls Rock veterans in the house who have each a decade of experience at Girls Rock camps. So I know personally you learn a thing or two about a thing or two at Girls Rock camp. So I know they're going to have some amazing, life experience to share.
It's true. One of which is Munoz Gervais, and she is a drummer, a music producer, and a social worker and organizer for the Girls Rock Camp in Houston, who currently resides here in Austin, and is a director for Integral Health. Plus, she's super cool.
Yeah, and speaking of super cool, Cindy Rhythm Haws is also gracing us with her presence. She was one of the first people I met when I first started volunteering at Girls Rock Camp in 2011, and she really helped make me feel like I was at home within our, girls rock community. So Rhythm's a multi-instrumentalist too, and a music teacher at the Rosedale School who performs around town with her children's band Strawberry Yacht, and a former drag producer and drag performer. Rhythm's also a mom and a foster parent and a social emotional learning facilitator who has helped to find loving families and safe homes for multiple children in the Texas foster care system.
Oh, wow. I'm feeling super inspired already. Maybe we should have called this the GRA Rock-A-Rama reunion episode, because we also have special performance by our favorite Latin rock, psych pop, space funk, fam jam band, Los Alcos, which features Alex Alco, GRA's first dude of drum instruction, and along with Girls Rock All-Star, Vanessa Burden.
Love Vanessa. I love Alex. I'm so excited to see both. Two of my favorite summertime friends. And I can't wait to just hear about all the good things going on in their lives and discuss how they've, united this group to make some magic happen. Los Alcos. Oh, so good.
Okay. See, so I can tell you're feeling a little bit better already, Jamie. Feeling a little bit more hopeful than I see.
Yeah, I really am. I'm thinking hopefully, this convo can help remind me and all of us of the power of unity and the other good things that we can do when we're able to join together and unite for the common good.
And now, a GRA news update from our guest correspondent in the field, Klotzy!
Do you like my new song? It's for the GRA Rock-A-Retreat 48-hour songwriting challenge. This is a new virtual rock retreat for adults 18 and up. The dates are April 24th and 25th. This weekend-long virtual program combines GRA's award-winning special blend of music, self-care workshops, instrument instruction, social justice caucuses, and a little happy hour karaoke each day, all for the goal of inspiring new folks to collaborate and create an original song based on our first theme for 2021, Practice Makes Progress. GRA is enlisting the help of students from Austin School of Film to make music videos for the original songs written during the rock retreats to be premiered at our very own drive-in screening. You can sign up online at the link below. That's right, girlsrockaustin.org. There's another thing that's worth practicing for, and it's the GRA After School program. Now, the GRA After School sessions are for ages 8 through 17 and will include live instrument instruction, collaborative workshops on Thursdays, and a live stream showcase at the end of the session. As always, GRA will still provide musical instruments and necessary gear for any Austin area campers that need them. These sessions are every Thursday. Registration is now open, and you can register at girlsrockaustin.org. Right here. Okay, see you soon. Love you. Bye. I love reggae music with my friends.
Welcome back to the GRA Rock-A-Rama. I am so excited to have the opportunity to sit down with our amazing panel of Austin Renaissance women this evening. Reverend Cary Graham is the founding pastor of the Church Lab, a nonprofit community which explores innovative paths to spiritual maturity. As part of this work, Cary has facilitated ongoing interreligious dialogue groups for the last 13 years. passionate about building bridges and fostering a space for unlikely friendships that helps people grow spiritually, one person at a time. Cary's making this world a better place. We also have Munoz Gervais, who's inspired by most of the healers, helpers, fighters, and builders. She's a drummer, a music producer, social worker, and Girls Rock Camp organizer from Houston, Texas. But she's now based in Austin and has been part of the Girls Rock Camp community for the last decade. And talking about old school GRA people representing, we've got a 10-year Girls Rock veteran in Cindy Rhythm Haws, who's joining us tonight. Rhythm really wears a lot of hats as a multi-instrumentalist, a ceramicist, a face painter, a gardener, a former drag performer and producer, and music teacher at the Rosedale School. She's also a mother, a foster parent, and a social emotional learning facilitator who performs around town with her children's band, Strawberry Yops. Welcome all! We're so glad you could be here and join us for this wonderful discussion we're about to have on the topic of unity. Unity is defined as a state of being, united or joined together as a whole, like the number one. But really, it is so much more than that. We've all heard the age-old saying, no man is an island. Yet in a time when we preach the power of one's own self and our own autonomy, one person is capable of an unlimited amount of possibilities. So why exactly is unity important on an individual level and for people as a whole? Our guests tonight will have some really insightful things to say on just about that. So first, I'd like to welcome Cary Graham. Thank you so much for being here. Well, Cary, your experiments, and helping others as a faith leader in helping make spiritual growth accessible in the 21st century, regardless of a person's posture or experience with religious institutions, you might be able to lend some insight on how exactly we go about trying to figure out why unity is important for us all when we're all divided right now.
Yeah, I think that individual empowerment is so important. Independence is important, but independence and isolation are two very different things. And as many of us have learned during the pandemic, isolation is no fun, and we're not really built for it. We're built to be in community. We're built for connection and open-heartedness. We're built to lean on each other and to offer support and love to one another. And while that can get bumpy, isolation is a much less fulfilling road to take. So while, independence, making sure you've got a skill set to take care of yourself and to act in your best interest, that's really important, but not to the exclusion of connection with other human beings.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard though this time right now. We're in such a strange place where it's really hard to think about coming together, even though it's probably all that we want. Muna, I'm so excited to have you here because your background in behavioral sciences and also being a musician and producer and social worker, I feel like you have an extra set of insight to kind of add to that. Could you kind of maybe expand upon why you think unity is really important right now for us when we're having such a hard time just coming together peacefully in the first place?
Yeah, and thank you for your kind words. For me, I would say, just on a very personal level, being South Asian and, hearing all these stories of like hate crimes and things like that against the Asian community, I think it's been really important for me to see the solidarity between like so many people, whether it's from like the music community or seeing people post like Stop Asian Hate and things like that. That really meant a lot to me personally, and like reading people's stories about experiences they had growing up. I feel like those stories, for the Asian community, they're not particularly amplified. And so I think this kind of gave an opportunity for a lot of people to share, a lot of that trauma growing up. And I related so much to so many of those stories, and they've just been so silenced for so long. So I felt a lot of unity recently reading those stories and, seeing your parents kind of experience microaggressions and having as a child to kind of advocate and translate and stand up for an adult is like a very kind of unique experience as a child of immigrants. So just seeing that from everyone has been it's been really moving for me. So unity is super important for me right now.
That's good. I feel like that's really wonderful. I think it's hard to hear stories like this right now. I know, I don't want to be like, oh God, it's all about me. But I feel like it's really hard to hear when someone has been really, truly like, victimized and done wrong. And especially right now when it seems like, how do you not know better? We should have that respect for each other on an individual and a social and like level, but to be able to kind of come away from that with a vision of hope is incredibly difficult, and I applaud you for being able to see that out of such a sad sight. That type of thing really, that just so it breaks my heart. And when it comes to being welcoming, it's such a hard thing to really not only be, it's hard to always be, sometimes people are just super good at it. Like rhythm, our Cindy Haws over here, you have just always been such a warm and I always think of you as being a very inviting and inclusive person. You've always made me feel exceptionally welcome, especially when I felt like the new kid on the block back in the OG days of Girls Rock Camp. So, I want to know, how do you see us benefiting from unity and being welcoming and inclusive? I obviously, it's like, it's nice to be welcomed, but you do a really good job of welcoming. And again, like, these are things that can just really be exhausting right now. So, how do you work your magic?
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up Girls Rock Camp, because I think that, like, I would always do Girls Rock Camp, and I would do the full day. I would do coaching, and I would do keyboard. And so there were other people, such as our dear departed Esme, who were able to start the day and go all the way through the entire day with 100% energy. And I think this is kind of what I had written about when we talked about these questions, is that, like, for me, it's a dance. It's like a balance. And I think that the mirror has really been like put on us this year, where it's like, I've had a lot more time to be at home. I needed that time to be at home and needed time to, like, just slow down. And so I've been able to do that at Girls Rock Camp and in my life, but I always, like, at Girls Rock Camp, I would go hide. You may not know that, but I would have to take some time and go hide from the cacophony of that experience And then once I was able to like regroup, then I could come back out. I was never as full on as our friends, but and I was able to do that. But I had to practice self-care. I had to practice some self-awareness and some self-management skills to be able to put out, right? I mean, I can't put out if I don't like take care of myself. And I think we talk about that a lot. And at this point now, from the year I've had as a teacher, I don't want to be told to practice self-care anymore, even though I've been personally telling people to practice self-care, because now it's like gaslighting. But like, take a little time to figure out what you need so that you can go work for the community or go work and be with the people that you're with. And so I think it's just this literal juggling act.
Well, hey, you're really good at it. But I'm serious though. I feel like I'm one of those people. I always say like, you burn bright and then burn out. Like I just run until I can't. And I really do value people who have that that skill set to actually take care of themselves, and not just I'll work out, but like it actually knowing like, all right, I need a break right now, I need a snack, I need to use the bathroom, like I need to just take care of myself. And it's hard. We always say like practice self-care, practice. I always talk about practice making progress. Like I have a hard time necessarily eating breakfast before 10 o'clock in the morning on any given day. I can sit there with it in my face and I just can't make myself eat it. It's one of those types of things. So that practicing, is really great. And it's great that you are open about that. Like I'm, I just thought you had it in the back. And I personally, like I said, I have a lot of, different anxieties when it comes to reuniting. We've all been kind of isolated lately from each other, and, between screen fatigue and mental exhaustion, it's definitely caused an extra need for rest and relaxation. And it can be genuinely difficult just to keep in touch with the folks you care about and like the folks you love, especially when you are a social butterfly. But for the rest of us who, fake it till we make it, or are just anxious as all hell about the possibility of these reunions, especially ones with the estranged family members or friends who we've had a falling out with. What do you recommend should be the first steps to leaving the comfort of your own personal cocoon and trying to actually reconnect with others? Does anyone want to take a stab at that?
I can try. I would say that I've been thinking about that stuff a lot lately, and I think I always just come back to this idea of healthy boundaries. And it's something that I don't think I've always kind of enforced myself, in myself. And so, and I think that's where the burnout comes from. And, being in situations where, you feel uncomfortable or, just overexerting yourself. And so the power of saying no is something that I'm actually still working on. But I think that that's kind of the main thing to help you go back out into the world, is just taking a step at a time, not overwhelming yourself, being able to say that, I'm not ready for certain things, or, I did finally, after a year or something, meet up with friends, like masked and outdoors. And I actually said, I was like, I'm sorry if I'm awkward, or it's just like, this is the first time I'm seeing people in a long time. And, it was just nice to just verbalize that and say like, this is weird because it's not been this way for a while. So, and you know, of course, my friends were like really understanding. I'm like, yeah, totally. Like, we get it. And, you know, so I think just expressing when you need space and time and, you know, I think that's really important. And sometimes that can be difficult to do because you don't want to upset anyone or, you know, make them feel bad or take it personally. But I think at the end of the day, it's healthy for you and, you know, your community to be able to uphold those. So.
Exactly. I feel like it's been so strange in a way seeing people for the first time. Like I had my very first band practice since May this past weekend, and I love my bandmates. They're fantastic. Shout out to Brand New Key, my bandies. But man, I felt so awkward because I know when you're playing music, it's very much kind of an intimate experience. You know, especially when you're kind of sitting in a circle and we were playing outside, so we're socially distanced. But I always make eye contact. I'm intense like that. And so I usually, you know, when you're playing in a band, you make the rounds and you see everybody. But suddenly, like, for the first time, I'm like looking into the faces of my friends who I talk to almost daily, but I'm looking at their faces now, and every time I make eye contact, I'm like look away. You know, it's this weird awkwardness. How do you get over that? I mean, Rhythm, what do you have any ideas about how to kind of get out of that weird sense of self and kind of just get back to where you were?
It's funny. I'm laughing because my bandmate and I have been playing music together for a really long time, and we're very like connected musically. We're like in a musical marriage basically, and we're totally comfortable with complete unlimited eye contact to the point where like we need to stop so that people don't feel awkward. You know, like we'll just stare at each other. But the first time we sang together, and we've been pretty intermittent. You know, like I set some boundaries about comfort levels, you know, with COVID, and so we've only seen each other a few times. We just started rehearsing again, and the first time we sang together, I mean, it was magical to sing in harmony with somebody and make eye contact for so long. It was really great. But I wouldn't be able to do that with anyone else. But I will say that, you know, as a special education teacher, I think a lot about transitions, and my students need transitions, and I've learned that adults need to transition. COVID, when we were locked down, that was not a very smooth transition. It was like, we're normal and now we're locked down. So we had a very abrupt, traumatic experience. And then we've been just sort of sitting with ourselves for a year. And some of us, I mean, I've had a house full of people, so I haven't had that kind of isolation that some people have had. But I mean, it's been very deeply upsetting and traumatic for people. So I just think that transition is what we need to think about, and that would, you know, be doing things that are slow and safe. Like I'm performing for the first time. This is the first time I felt comfortable saying yes to a show. But we went to the venue last week. We looked at it. We checked out the crowd. We wanted to make sure it was safe. I went on the stage, like, to kind of imagine what that would feel like. And I think that might be way too much for some people right now, from what I'm just observing. I think some people have really not left much at all, and those go for walks, go to the grocery store, or choose something with a favorite person or a favorite place or something that's just a little bit outside your comfort zone. And that would be my recommendation, because I don't think it's a good idea to just jump right into a abrupt transition right now. I think we have all had a lot of mental health issues that we may or may not have really addressed, and that we should just ease into this a little bit.
So maybe not the best week to like go run away to a cabin with all your pals, like
Now, to me,
in the
that's
middle of nowhere.
wonderful.
Let's
You
go
have to know
have
yourself, right? I mean, you have to know if you're ready for that or not. But
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And it's not even just being ready like on that personal level, but just also being ready for any of the topics that come up while we are socializing. We've all been so divided by our beliefs and our own personal struggles, and this isolation from our friends and our loved ones. But how do we as individuals find a way to come together as a people, while still refusing to tolerate any intolerance? That's that's a pretty big question. It's how can we build unity out of our own diversity, out of our own differences, and but still being able to thrive, in our own uniquities.
There aren't shortcuts. So sort of to the tune of what Muna and Rhythm are sharing about boundaries and transition, even here, it's important when we're talking about tenser topics or more tense dynamics, understanding that it's slow work, it's hard work, it can be worthwhile work. There aren't a lot of shortcuts. There's not a lot of instant gratification. When we're talking about the really super divisive stuff, the political stuff, right? Oh, you're fill in the blank, whatever's going on in your family, right? Whatever it is.
Left, right, red, blue.
right, yeah. We can all take some guesses, yeah. It's really important, I would say, to if you really want to have those conversations, it's something you want to do. I think recognizing that it's hard, slow work. It's a two-way street, meaning oftentimes the hardest first step in bridge building is to open your heart and your head to the idea that that other person that you're frustrated with, frustrated may be a tame term in some cases, that they have something to teach you. And that the bridge building is indeed this reciprocal situation when there's really bridge building going on, right? That said, having mutual respect and giving one another dignity, having some really, really, really clear ground rules about how you're going to treat each other, what your goals are, those things are really important to know even in yourself. Is this an environment in which I can build a bridge? Right? Why do I want to build this bridge? What is it for? And is it worth it? That's really, really important too, because sacrificing your own self-respect is not really going to achieve the ultimate objective regardless. Even if your heart is like really sad that this other person may not be ready to have that conversation. It's always okay to say, hey, look, I know we have these huge differences, and sometimes I worry about it getting in the way of our relationship, or maybe it already has. And I would love to be able to talk about it with you, but because it's such a different type of convo, I think we'd have to exercise like different muscles that have a lot more to do with like really intentional, slow listening, that sort of thing. And so if you're ever up for that, please let me know, right? So you can hold out hope for people, even if it's not the right time, right? People can be like, what are you talking about with your mushy gushy woo woo business, right? And you can be like, okay, that's fine, but you've planted a seed, yeah? So if that person 6 months down the road, even years down the road, says finally, you know what? This relationship is really important to me. Maybe we can sit down and have that conversation in that weird way you were talking about, right? So I think there's that, you can hold hope, but you're holding on to the necessity of everybody getting dignity while you build those hard bridges. I hope that's helpful, yeah.
Well, when we're trying to educate and enlighten someone who, has typically been difficult, or, let's say they do embrace some really toxic subject matters, maybe they're saying some things that are racist or bigoted or something equally offensive. When you do when do you suggest just cutting your losses, nipping it in the bud, and just saying like, I'm done? You know, at some point, I feel like, you know, there, as much as we want to unite, there are sometimes it seems like it's just not in our own best interest, even if it's in the interest of the greater good. So, you know, what do you think? When do you know you're done? Like there's no more. Like, can't go any further. Roadblock.
I guess I can speak to that a little bit as someone who's created just a wonderful echo chamber in my social media. I'm like, 0 tolerance, except for there's a couple of, you know, I mean, family members, although I have, you know, I've had to learn a little bit in some of the like anti-racist work that I'm doing through AISD right now. I mean, I'm you know, I'm a Leo. I'm a outspoken, direct conversationalist type of person, and I have some pretty like hardline beliefs that I feel pretty strongly about, and I have typically been a call out person when it comes to like racism and things like that.
As we all should be, really.
Right. And so there are some things though that I've adjusted in the last year, which is that like you always disrupt. You have to disrupt every time in some form or fashion. But it isn't always the most beneficial or productive to call someone a racist, even though you want to deeply. And so what I do to get that out of my system is I just do that on KView comments. So that's I'm like, I don't know you. You're clearly a QAnon troll. I'll say whatever I want to you and work that out. Now that may really be, I've had some threatening messages, but that's my therapy. And so then I can now like think about what's the best response, because there's techniques that you can learn, which I think are really helpful, because then you're prepared for uncle, whoever, to say the racist thing. You have a plan, you have a course of action, you're not thrown off by it. You know it's going to happen. And so then you can do things like question, oh, why do you say that? Or what do you mean? Versus like, hey, you're a racist, you know, like, then you're just gonna, your energy exchange is gonna be really costly there.
It's true. Opening that dialogue.
So like, I mean, people that are close to me and my family that I don't want to just like sever ties with, I'm gonna make a better plan. And I'm not gonna say I've always done it perfectly, because I have not. But I'm gonna think about better ways to do it. And so there's skills you can learn to work through disrupting, but I do think that we have to disrupt. And there are times when it's like, it's not worth your energy. Some rando on social media.
Oh yeah.
Energy.
Exactly. That's not the type of unity I'm talking about. I think we all need to come together in a spiritual nature, but you know, on a public forum, in a chat room, or leaving comment. I say chat room.
But like, I feel like,
wow, how old am I?
Cary, we're there to mediate. I feel like we could get further, but I'm tired and jaded.
It's true.
But now I'm like, if Cary could just come mediate all of my exchanges.
That's true. Well, you know, to wrap this up, this has been such a great conversation, but I do just want to ask one quick thing, which may not be quick, but hopefully will be, because, you know, we got things to do, people to see, places to go. But basically, you know, it's taken humanity a million years to get to the point where we are right at this very moment as a cumulative culture. But it all started with the ability to learn from each other, especially from those outside of our own gene pool, you know, and just how we can come together is really, it's really amazing how we are truly greater than the sum of our parts. But how can we, you know, help jumpstart this new step in our cultural evolution of unity through diversity, so that we can really see some change affected in our lifetime?
just hearing Rhythm speak and hearing her experiences, I can really relate a lot in terms of just being very outspoken and calling out and you know um, kind of experiencing the highs and lows of that. And I think one of the things that I always try to come back to, I'm not always successful, but is asking 3 questions. Is it helpful? Is it timely? And is it true? And so asking,
Helpful, timely, and true.
yeah, and asking myself those questions really helps navigate a lot of those conversations or issues and things like that, because there's been times where like I want to pop off, but then I'm like, it's not very timely right now. Because things are heated and there's like a lot of emotions involved, and typically people can feel very much like attacked in a lot of those types of situations. So kind of stepping back and saying when would be a more timely way to do this, and when would it be most helpful for both parties involved. So just thinking of those 3 questions helps me a lot.
Right, wonderful, wonderful. Well, on that note, I'd like to thank you all for being here. Cary Graham, thank you for giving us your expertise. Everyone, go check out Church Lab. Muna, Munoz Gervais, please come back for more volunteer opportunities. We love having you in camp, and your anti-racism workshop was fantastic. So, and Rhythm, it's just a joy to get to see your face, and just always a pleasure to have your insight and your artistry and everything you do. So thank you all for being here. And now, a word from our sponsors. We're back with the awesome, the amazing Alex Alco and the vibrant Vanessa Burden of Los Alcos. I am so happy to have you both here on the show today. Two of my favorite people. I adore you both, and I'm just so thankful that I've gotten the opportunity to work with you at Girls Rock Camp so many times. So tell me what good things have been going on in your lives.
I've just been out here in Colorado. I just moved to Denver, and this pandemic was kind of a huge shift in my life, and obviously in all of my plans and in my music career and all that. But I feel really good because I'm in a really great career in gutters trade and sheet metal trade, I suppose. And yeah, it just feels good after a long year of turmoil and uncertainty to be in a place where I know every single day I have job security and I have a career, and I work in a place where people are caring and nice. And we actually are essential workers here in Colorado because it's really snowy and rainy all the time. And I'm enjoying it. Also, I come from a line of sheet metal workers with my father and my grandfather. So it's honestly something that even hearing myself say it now, I'm like, God, that's so crazy. I can't believe I'm doing that, because I did reject it for a long time as well. But it's a weird life to get you to the path, you make it onto. And that's where I am, and I'm having a great time. So how about you, Vanessa?
What good things are happening? I mean, just being here and is happening. Trying to stay present and finding my joy as much as possible. is one thing that I really strive for every day amongst the craziness, because it has been a crazy year, but I've still managed to find peace and have gone through a lot of transformation, like I'm sure a lot of people have. Creating, I'm a plant mom, so I got lots of plants. I do a lot of rework, and I've been slinging vintage, which has been a lot of fun, and doing some styling.
Ooh.
So that has been a lot of fun, in addition to still creating and still feeling like creating after a long period of not doing it.
It's true. It's such a hard time for so many people, but I feel like especially creatives. And, there is a kind of hope, I guess, for inspiration when some sort of tragedy strikes. I mean, I guess that's the one thing that all artists and musicians do is take something productive from tragedy and turn it into something amazing. But it's really hard to focus and continue working through something like this, especially you both are in different states. And it's hard enough, we're all separated so much, but it's hard enough working with anybody. But I'd love to hear how you both have managed to work together, how long you've been in the band together, and how you've managed to kind of keep things going and everybody excited and still up to the challenge of making some magic together in music.
Awesome. Well, I'll go ahead and start, Vanessa. I think it's a lot upon, at least in my own personal responsibility, to show I'm still very committed to this life, because, I left the city and the place where we spent so much time, meeting each other and growing our group and establishing like our connection. And only at a time like this, as you were saying, like, we're not going to be really meeting up together anyways. My family had COVID deaths, so there's been lots of anxiety and just general confusion and just a lot of emotion that isn't always logical, but also it's just what, like you're saying, so many people are experiencing in varying levels. So for me, to make such a personal choice to be like, I'm going to leave here, you just have to build so much trust and you have to lay it all out there. At least that's what I did, is like, hey, just because I'm leaving, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but that doesn't mean I'm leaving y'all. And this is just such an odd time in all of our lives that nobody saw coming. And so this is the result of it. And for me, we still do things like this. We text, we call each other, we come. I've only been able to visit once in this whole, time, but as you
and
were
what
saying,
a time you picked.
yeah, and I came when it was the snowstorm, and our show that we had then got canceled, and all these things.
Apocalypse 2021.
Yeah, all these things that could just continually knock us down if we were feeling down. But I don't think we've ever felt extremely down. I think the main thing that I really herald with this group and with everyone is we have a lot of patience and we have a lot of tolerance. And I think that is something that I learned from my family. And, we are a family band, even though we're not all related. I don't use that term, just loosely. It's an important bond, and it's an important connection of trust, being in a band and being anywhere where you're working together. It is a certain level of professionalism that I've experienced in so many times throughout my life in music, where it kind of gets thrown out the window because music's so fun, where you're just like, oh, whatever, this isn't work. But it truly is work to make my imagination and Vanessa's and everyone else in the group come into this new imagination and this new magic. So I think it's, like I said, a lot on the trust, patience, tolerance, and then just communicating. As soon as I decided, I think that this is the best thing to do for my life, of course I thought so much about, all the people I work with and I'm involved with. But we're still going. And like you said, Jamie, when we were talking before, you practiced with your band for the first time in like 8 months recently or something. So like, is this even really that weird if you think about it, that we're not meeting up and all that? That's kind of the things that have made me feel better.
Oh, I've been in a band myself where the lead guitarist lived in California when the rest of the band lived in New York, and he would fly in for shows, and that's actually how I came to Texas for South by Southwest 2020 or 2009.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. People make it work, but it does take a lot of know-how, and you're right. It totally takes a lot of patience and tolerance, and you two have so much of that.
I need Vanessa all the time too to remind me, just like, hey, we got to stay on top of the grind, because she's still on the ground there in Austin, like at the Far Out, where she's slanging her vintage clothes, and we're gonna play there, and people are asking, oh, what's up with Los Alcos? Nobody's asking me that here. Nobody knows about, like, I mean, they might see a video, but they don't know me that way, the way that Austin does. And Vanessa has been so great and integral in keeping us like just relevant in even our own minds, because it's just a busy life and a lot going on all the time.
Well,
I think like when Alex was here and we were able to practice, I think like as musicians you realize like it's not like, oh, that we couldn't, it's just that it was so healing for us to get together as a group again, and how much healing comes out of like this whole like experience of learning how to transmute all that negativity into something positive. And then like he says, like staying relevant, and like even just having the conversation with the band afterwards is like, hey man, I know it's been crazy. If you're not feeling like jamming or you're feeling that, let's just be open and communicate about it, because we're, there's no shame in saying, hey man, I'm going through this, or I'm not really feeling this right now, or I've been kind of depressed and this is why I'm not answering the thread, or whatever, like right. it happens, and I feel like nobody in like just the music, as musicians in our whole city that depends upon our live music capital, it's like we don't really talk about that stuff that we're going through, but the reality is that a lot of us are going through things, and then transmuting it, and then how we need to express it, and how that really helps us not feel alone, stays more connected, and stays more relevant. So like when I actually got to go to when things were kind of opening back up in November, I went to visit Alex in Denver. I had never been to Denver. I'd never experienced the mountains like that, and it was very healing for me. And to show him some things where I was continuing like, hey, I'm writing these things, but I don't know if it's really going to fit with this stuff. And he's such a laid back and open person to collaborate with, that it made me feel good about sharing my ideas, where I've been in bands before where maybe that wasn't the case,
That's so great. I can't wait. I'm so excited to see this performance. We're all excited. We're so happy to have you both here. Thank you both so much. Alex Alco, Vanessa Burden, Los Alcos. Take it away.
non c'è auto deciso.
friends. You just caught me on my way out. You see, I'm volunteering for Girls Rock Austin's Operation Lunchbox initiative, and I have all these meals that I need to deliver to some awesome families. Now, since June 2020, Girls Rock Austin created Operation Lunchbox, where we partner with Keep Austin Together to provide families with nutritious and delicious meals that can be easily frozen or microwaved. If you want to volunteer or you want to be a recipient, you can go to girlsrockaustin.org. Okay, I got a boogie. See you soon. Bye, y'all.
Welcome to the GRA Rock-A-Rama game show. Yes. This evening we will be testing everyone's personal song title databases. We created some super fun rebus puzzles out of emojis and we'll be displaying them on the screen. The emojis spell out the song title that our contestants will then guess that song. Here's how to play. We ask a trivia question regarding an artist or a specific piece of said artist. Along with an emoji hint, you guess the answer. Each of you will make a sound or shout a saying to show that when you are ready to answer. So be thinking of your sounds now. Here's the breakdown. Round number 1, 3 questions, 1 point each. Round number 2, 3 questions, 1 point each. Round number 3, 3 questions, 2 points each. Let's talk about some prizes. Very excited. Our third place prize is a Stretch Panic merch package. Very cool. Stretch Panic is a local band that makes fun, spooky sounds, and that's what we love about them. Second place is a Vinyl Beauty Bar gift card and some good smelling home self-care products. And our first place is dinner for 2 at Chez Z. Very nice. So let's meet our contestants, shall we? Contestant number 1, Claire McDaniel. Claire became involved with Girls Rock Austin while attending their weekend camp for adult women in order to fulfill a lifelong dream of learning to play drums. She started volunteering at camp that summer. Claire is a songwriter and drummer with the Woolly Vickers, a pop rock band found right here in Austin. She also drums with Never Forever, a Kate Bush tribute band. Claire is employed in the legal field and has a mobile notary business. Ooh, very cool, Claire. I didn't know that fun fact. Next time I have a legal document that needs to get notarized, send you a little thing.
Definitely.
Number 2, Diana Buchert. Diana is a music analyst for a YouTube music team with a background in live booking and indie labels. Very cool. You can find her crate digging at a record store or bumbling around the local skate park or soaking up the sun in her little backyard. She adores Austin's local art scene and is always on the hunt for the best vintage shops. When asked what she's proud of, she says she was super involved in extracurricular organizations and trips while in college, and during her senior year in 2019, she was awarded the Media School's Director's Choice Award. She says it felt super cool and fulfilling to have her hard work recognized amongst her favorite classmates and professors. Welcome, Diana!
Thank you.
Okay, contestant number 3, Jonathan Panzer. Jonathan is a lifelong Austinite and lover of its culture. He knows how important the next generation of musicians is to our community and knows that Austin can only rock when girls rock Austin, and is proud to support its amazing mission and empower more musicians in this wonderful city. Jonathan! All right! Very cool, very cool. Okay, contestants, what are your sounds? What are your sounds for whenever you It's like your buzzer. We don't have buzzer. You're using your vocal cords. So, Claire, what is your sound?
Hey.
Okay. I will try not to be confused by, hey! All right, that's gonna work. Okay, Diana, what is your sound?
I guess I can just go, ooh, or ooh, something like that.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah, more enthusiastic.
Yes. And Jonathan, you got a sound for us? That's very accurate.
That's great.
It's easy.
I love that. Okay, are y'all ready to play?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Song was a Bob Marley original. Here is your emoji hint. Do you see what I see?
One Love.
Ooh.
Yes, Jonathan. I heard first.
Yep.
Very good. Okay.
Just make sure you wait for Matt to call on you.
Okay, this next one is by Sister Sledge. Here we go. Ready? And
Hey.
Ooh.
Claire, you know it?
We are family.
Yeah, that's right. We are family.
Sisters with me.
Made the audition. Going on tour next week. All right. Very good, friends. Okay, and then this one, I feel like it might be a little obvious. So I'm just going to give the emoji hint first, and then if we need the artist, I'll give it to you. Sound okay?
Sure.
Here we go. All right.
Ooh.
Okay, Diana.
Rainbow Connection.
Yes. Yes, by Kermit the Frog, aka Jim Henson. Very good.
There's so many
Kermit the Frog.
rainbows.
It's always
The other side.
How can people not sing that song?
Did you just go it's a Swedish Chef?
You know what? Swedish Chef is the most underrated Muppet of all time. He is if not my Patronus, he's definitely like my sub Patronus, like my baby Patronus.
Are y'all ready for round 2?
Yay!
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Screen. Here we go. Okay, this next one is by John Lennon.
Woo.
Diana.
Imagine.
That's true. That's the answer to this question. You did it.
Question
1
cloud.
point.
Imagine all the people.
Okay, this next one is by Shaka Khan. Okay, we ready?
Woo.
Diana, go for it.
I'm every woman.
Ah!
Everyone. I do it naturally.
That song is so good.
Okay, next question. This next one is a classic. Louis Armstrong. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go.
Hey.
Claire.
What a wonderful world.
Yeah. That's right. Truly awesome.
I see trees of
Truly
green.
awesome. Okay, here
Sounds
we go.
right.
With the score, friends.
Let's day, the dark secret night.
What a
Oh,
Beautiful performance. Love it.
thank you.
Okay, friends. We're ready for round 3? Yeah. I'm going to say yes.
Let's repeat all of our contestants' scores.
Ooh. You read. That's what I was going to do before I moved on too quickly to round 3. Here we go. So our contestants' scores Diana in the lead with 3. Claire with 2, and Jonathan with 1 point.
1.
Still be anybody's game.
Yes.
Anyone's game. These points are worth 2 points, by the way, friends. Round 3 is worth 2 points. So
It's the final countdown.
Thank you for your patience, friends. Yeah. Okay. There we go. How do I use a computer? Okay.
I want to know.
I appreciate everyone's support on that. Okay, question number 3. This is a David Bowie classic.
There's a lot of things on that.
There's a lot of things.
Ooh.
Okay, Diana?
Heroes.
Yeah, we could be heroes.
We could be heroes. There you go.
Can be heroes.
Oh, can.
Mm.
I love you can.
I thought that was an oil drum.
Okay, very nice, very nice.
A lot going on.
Next question is a Cyndi Lauper favorite. 1, 2, here we go.
Ooh.
Oh.
I can't tell who I heard first. I'm gonna go with Claire.
The True Colors.
Yeah, that's right.
Woo! I see your true colors shining through. Don't be afraid.
Okay, this next one is, there's a couple of versions of this one. Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell do a version of it, as well as Diana Ross. We all know it. 1, 2, ready, go.
Ain't no mountain high enough.
Jonathan, that is correct. Yes, and I did hear your first. I was
Yay.
to it.
Ain't no mountain high enough.
Ain't no river wide.
Y'all's voices are so beautiful, I must say. Wow, great job, everybody. Okay, so in 3rd place we have Jonathan.
Yay. On number 3.
You're number 3. You will be taking home our Stretch Panic merch package.
Yes.
So your shirt,
I like merch, especially from awesome bands.
An awesome band. They're fun.
True. And then in 2nd place, our runner-up is Claire. A Final Beauty Bar service gift card and some good smelling self-care home products.
Yeah. That's always nice.
Diana, our 1st place winner. 1, 2, Shazzy.
Yay! Sweet!
Beautiful, everybody. Beautiful. Okay. I believe that's it. That's the show. That's the game.
Woo! That was fun.
You did it.
Yeah.
Everybody's a winner. That girl's rock Austin.
Were you nervous?
Petrified, stupefied, mystified, sanctified, all that stuff, all the fides.
I bet a chicken fried.
Like a chicken thigh or a chicken
I
thigh?
said I
Chicken thigh sounds really good right now, but yeah,
Doesn't it?
yes. Food
Always
senses.
Well, friends, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining us at the Girls Rock Austin Rock-A-Rama game show. I've been Madison, and y'all are wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you all for watching the GRA Rock-A-Rama. Mark your calendars for the mother of all Girls Rock Austin benefits, because we're going to raise some money for the Unlimited Possibilities Scholarship Fund, because at Girls Rock Austin, we never want finances to stand in the way of anyone's creative expression. So, drum roll please. It's the return of the GRA Mama Slay Mother's Day Tea Party Extravaganza! Yeah. Kicking off Friday, May 7th for a GRA happy hour at Kendra Scott, the domain location, from 5 to 7 p.m. So take your mama out that night. And we'll be partying it up with cocktails and mocktails and hors d'oeuvres.
Oh my! It's the perfect time to get yourself and your mom something pretty for Mother's Day. And hey, it's my birthday weekend too. So come hang out with us virtually and tune in for the GRA Rock-A-Rama Mama Slay Mother's Day Tea Party episode Saturday, May 8th at 4 p.m. Central. We'll be saluting all the bad mamma jammas that made an impression on our lives.
Yes, you can join us for our very own Texas high tea. So you can just purchase one of our GRA Tea Party kits, which includes our really cool GRA mugs, with a special design for the Mama Slay Mother's Day party, plus an array of fine teas and some delightful treats. And who doesn't love treats? Everyone who purchases a kit has an opportunity to leave a shout out to their mom on another special someone, and we'll air it on the GRA Rock-A-Rama Mama Slay episode.
Way cooler than some old greeting card.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we'll be debuting the songs from the GRA Rock Retreat 48-hour songwriting challenge. So it's going to be really something special.
We'd like to thank Alex Alco, Vanessa Burden, and the rest of Los Alcos for the magical musical performance. We'd also like to thank our special guest panelists, Cary Graham, Munoz Gervais, and Cindy Rhythm Haws.
And thanks to our partners, the City of Austin, Cultural Arts, Economic Development, Google Fiber, Austin Guitar Center, Horizon Music Foundation, Backstage Chats with Women in Music, Halloween Man Comics, and CherT Realtor of Stanberry Realtors. Oh, and of course, Ice Cream Factory Studios. We love them.
Plus, special shout outs to Vinyl Beauty Bar, Stretch Panic, and Shay Z, as well as our contestants, Claire McDaniel, Diana Buchert, and Jonathan Panzer.
Yeah, well, that's our show, folks. Until next time, adieu.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.